Walked into the library one day and everyone was watching one of my videos, giving me some shit about it and having a bit of a laugh. But look who's laughing now, so there you go.
Made one from the old days in primary school actually. So this is Vadnal, primarily known for his massive YouTube channel called FitnessFAQS. And how many views do we have at the moment, man?
I think we're about to get 34, 35 million.
35 million, just a casual amount.
Just a bit, yeah.
Looking back now, I remember him when he was a lot younger in primary school, a year below me. We also went to the same high school, same uni. I'm just realizing all this kind of things now.
ACU as well, yeah.
It's ACU, so shout out to you guys too. Now we're just catching up and just seeing how he's going with his whole journey, because I personally am really inspired by Daniel's work, and he's impacting, like you said, 34, 35 million people viewing his content online. I'm just really excited to deep dive into your story and the man behind the brand of FitnessFAQS and how exactly you got there. So appreciate the catch up today.
No worries, man.
Looking forward to it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so you want to tell a bit about yourself and the journey that you come through, having this amazing YouTube channel, impacting millions of people's lives, and what you're doing next.
I first started my online presence, if you will, started filming back in 2008. This was around the time when I started exploring hand balancing, so doing handstands. At this time, I was also doing parkour. And I was mainly just, filming myself, doing things and trying to see what my form looked like and refine things based on my own objective view, viewing the videos back again. It wasn't until maybe 2010 that I decided that I'd like to start posting more educational type videos on the internet. Because I looked on the internet at the time and I saw a lot of people posting videos, but really poorly edited. People couldn't actually do the skills themselves. And they were talking a lot of BS, to be honest with you. So I looked at that and I thought I could do that a lot better, a lot more succinctly, and help people out by doing so. So at that stage, I started FitnessFAQs, and my main goal at the time was to start, obviously, educational videos and how-tos with different exercises, different workouts people could do, and it was all based off not requiring any equipment. So there was absolutely no excuses or any barriers to people doing different things. And that was my vision from the start. At the start, for the first year or two, I don't think I posted that consistently, but every time that I did post, when I got around to making the content, the feedback across the board was really positive. So people were giving me good affirmation as to what I was doing, and it wasn't that difficult for me to keep going in that sense, because I didn't have many people saying, oh, what you're doing is bad or whatnot. Obviously on the internet, there's going to get those comments where people are just being silly. But I had a pretty good experience from the start, and then it took me a few years to decide, you know what, I should do this a little bit more consistently. And then when I started to put in work more religiously, I was starting to reap the rewards with more subscribers, more viewers, and essentially took it from there. So expanded my YouTube platform to what it is today.
Awesome, man. So it definitely sounds like a massive highlight, if you will, in terms of where we've come from and what we've done to this day. Obviously, it hasn't always been that whole steady uphill kind of
course not,
journey.
Yeah.
What was that first milestone for you where you were like, I really want to keep going, like this is it, I'm doing it?
Yeah. One of the initial stages that really stood out to me was probably back in, I think it was 2012, if I remember correctly. At the stage, YouTube was putting something out there called YouTube Next Trainer, where basically they were offering mentoring, they were offering equipment to YouTubers at the time who were doing quite well in the fitness field. And I applied for it. I thought, you know what, I might not get it. You know how we always tend to doubt what we can actually achieve. Applied for it, got successfully through with that. Hey everyone, my name is Daniel. I'm 19 years old and I'm from Melbourne, Australia. And I just got approved to be YouTube's next trainer. So it was only 12 people, I think, that got accepted for YouTube Next Trainer. So that basically kickstarted everything. I got a DSLR camera, microphone, tripod, advice regarding editing and stuff and how to reach your audience on YouTube. So going through that process really made me think, you know what, maybe I can do this, pursue this further, even as a financial means. And that really kick-started things for me with the progression of my channel, reaching more people, doing higher quality content and making it more watchable, if you will, more interactive. The audience retention went up when I started working more exclusively with that YouTube Next Trainer program.
Right, just taking on their advice, their guidance, and everything. I realised that you're actually pioneering the health and fitness. It's booming. You know, you've got gyms everywhere, PTs everywhere.
Yeah.
You have a lot of fitness influencers out and about, especially like yourself on YouTube. The other thing is also video.
Yes.
So combining health and fitness and video, you've got like this amazing opportunity, which you're really pioneering.
Yeah.
When you first started, did you know you were entering into like this gold mine, or is there a certain point where you're like, wow, this is a crazy opportunity right now, I'm gonna go all out in this?
From the start, I mean, I was talking to Mark about this before, but when I started, it wasn't really to build a business or to build a brand. It was essentially filling a gap that I felt existed on that medium, on YouTube, which was high quality content for that specific purpose. I think in my case, because I just started putting the content out there very innocently just to help people, and just seeing over time each video doing a little bit better than the previous, I essentially just kept the momentum going and just built off my previous success, if you will. And then just taking the negatives from my previous one and really trying to turn them into positives. So if someone was giving me feedback on a style of video that I was doing or how I was coming across, I'd try and refine that in future videos, and just essentially growth continue over time, and just trying to put out the best content I could and just help as many people as I could.
Nice. And what was the first kind of feedback you got from your audience where you're like, I'm addicted to this now, I really want to keep adding value, keep helping change people's lives?
Oh, definitely. I mean, when you see your stats and see that you're getting, you know, X number of views from different parts of the world, and, you know, tens of thousands of views on each video, it just really puts into perspective that you've got a reach that's wider than your local demographic. So just for example, if I'm doing personal training, I can only, you know, train say like 40, 50 people a week. Whereas if I'm putting online content out there, I can reach thousands even while I'm sleeping as well, which is just an extremely gratifying, you know, feeling.
Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, both of us have quite a few friends. You've probably got a ton more in terms of friends being in the fitness industry. Yeah. I met quite a few where they're like, you know, I'm happy doing what I'm doing right now. And there's that kind of barrier from them taking themselves in, say, a brick and mortar kind of style business where it's just local demographic and your clients are situated just in an arm's reach, basically.
Yeah.
What is the best advice to give to these people who have that kind of obstacle from getting themselves from this physical presence to the online presence where you have unlimited reach to clients and the ability to increase your credibility and increase sales and your training and impact more people? I
think in today's day and age with online marketing, social media and things like that, you'd almost be a bit of a fool not to put yourself out there, just because of, if you can reach more people even in your local area, it'll help your brick and mortar business as well. But if you can reach people outside of that, you can add an additional service or product that you can sell, which will help expand your brand or your business too. And I think even more important, especially in the fitness field, if you are forced to put content out there, it really keeps you forced to be up to speed with the latest in research, what works most effectively. You can't just BS your way through a conversation with a client. Your voice is out there, people are going to critique you, so you've got to be putting out the right content. So it'll help you professionally in your own brick and mortar business as well. So it'll help you expand professionally, and it forces you to keep learning.
Awesome. Let's get into details, because I know that there'd be people out there who are on that kind of the edge where they're like, you know, I'm thinking about taking my business online. Maybe I want to create a website. I want to get in social media, that kind of stuff, you know. In terms of someone who's really making it happen, I can only imagine how many people are reaching out to you and saying, Daniel, I want to work with you. Yeah. And because of your level of credibility and your exclusiveness, you having to say no.
It definitely does get like that, especially, I didn't mention this earlier, but I'm currently working as a physiotherapist as well. So I'm trying to juggle full-time physio with my FitnessFAQS stuff as well. So as you said, you're in that interesting position where you've got this service to provide, which is a specialty service, and you can charge what you want, you can take on as many people as you want. And at this stage, I've actually got a decent waiting list for my online coaching stuff, just based on the time commitment. I don't want to spread myself too thin. So definitely there is the need to do that if you want to push your business to the next level. And I think just not hesitating to take the first step. You've got to learn somehow. You can't read about this stuff indefinitely. You've just got to put yourself out there, see what the reaction is, learn from your mistakes, and just try and put out the best quality content that you can. There's no secret to any of this. It's going to take hard work to do that, but unless you take that first step, you're never going to know if you can do it or if it's going to be a viable option for you. So you got to try it. Just try it.
So looking forward to a lot of you guys taking that first couple of steps and people reaching out to you, man, because of this interview. So looking back on when you did take that first step for you, I can only imagine the people who were supporting you and the people who were not so supportive.
Yes.
And in terms of, I think, belief in yourself, especially what we're doing, it's so important, because if you don't have that belief in yourself and you're not surrounded with the right people, you can only go so far. So how did you handle that, like, mentally? How did you combat people saying to you, because we were talking about this previously when you're at uni, and can you share with us what other people were saying in terms of like negative remarks?
Sure. I'll start with just the positive stuff that I got first. I mean, from the channel, it always helped that I had, say 90-95% positive feedback. So that always made it fairly easy for me to keep pushing in that environment. Family, and for the most part, friends, really supportive. I know my family in particular. I know that if I wanted to pursue this full time, they'd be all in. They know that it's my passion. I love teaching this stuff, and I love doing it. When it comes to some of the negative stuff, that's with everything in life. You're going to get people who are either jealous or just trying to, drag you down, like that crab mentality. So, you've got crabs in a bucket. One crab's trying to get out and do more than everyone else. The rest try and pull them down. I found when I was in uni, when someone found out about my channel, because I like to keep things on the low, just go about my business. A group of friends found out about my channel. They told people in my cohort. And then I walked into the library one day and everyone was watching one of my videos on loudspeaker, and it was a bit funny. Everyone was, giving me some shit about it and having a bit of a laugh. But look who's laughing now. So there you go.
Hit like right there. That's awesome. So like what you're saying, surrounding yourself with the right people. I mean, you've got your family, which is really supporting you. So in terms of having the right people around you with your friends, and having people who have achieved what you want. Who are the people in your kind of scene, the fitness scene, doing bodyweight training, all that kind of stuff, that you look up to? In short, who is your dream team of people that you have around you and would love to have around you more?
Sure. I'd say one of the people that I look up to most in terms of just their global impact and what they've achieved is someone called Ido Portal. He basically specialises in bodyweight strength training, essentially movement culture, whereby we're manipulating our body through space, advanced mobility, training anywhere, anytime, using your own body to get more athletic feats and just better use of your body in your day-to-day life. With him, he's had such a global impact in changing people's paradigm of what fitness really is. And just seeing the reach that he's been able to achieve. He's traveling the world teaching workshops. He recently was working with Conor McGregor, leading up to one of his UFC fights. Just seeing someone go from sticking to their values, sticking to what they're trying to teach, I think that's very motivating to see something like that. If I can stay true to myself, continue to push my vision with what I see bodyweight training becoming in Australia, I'll be content. That'll be my definition of success. Reaching people, teaching people, getting bodyweight training more popular in Australia would be my vision. And I guess coming back to your question, Mark, about who would be my team, I would be looking for people who not only practice what they preach, so are capable of doing elements that I hold true to this style of training, so living the lifestyle, but also being committed to the brand and the movement of creating a good culture surrounding this style of training. I'd say that's my vision. So if people have those qualities, I'd be looking to take those people on.
Nice, I love that. It's so important to have the right people around you. who are pushing you, and actually, I've heard this from somewhere.
Yeah.
You're always gonna have people who are better than you, so that you can learn from them.
Yeah.
Right? You can have people that are on the same level as you, so you can be challenged with each other.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then you need to have people who are learning, who are
willing to get to that stage.
yeah, where you used to be, so you can help bring them up too.
Yep.
So having that nice balance of people around you is always nice and healthy.
I think if you're not working with people who are better than you, or if you don't think that you've got things to learn, you've lost the battle. Because you're going to stagnate and you're not going to get to that next step.
Yeah.
I think you would have got this from speaking to people that are more successful, that probably is a trend that you'd see a quality that would be consistent amongst everyone. They probably hold a lot less worth in themselves than other people think of them. And that's probably what keeps the fire going, in the sense of pushing the envelope constantly.
Definitely. Let's talk details, because I mean, one of the most recent videos you actually published was how to work smarter, something about that, right?
Yeah.
And you and I are very alike in terms of we're very goal-driven.
Yeah.
We're taking action every single day, to the point where it can be sort of detrimental to us, you know? And
In the big picture of things,
I think it's really important, because yes, it's good to achieve this kind of level of success and get that fulfillment helping other people, but more importantly, we need to take care of ourselves, you know? And I've seen myself and people around me, they're all in sort of one area in their life. They kind of neglect other areas like health.
And it's
all
hard.
Kind of thing,
It's
you know?
it's very hard. Yeah.
So, what was your mindset and your main advice to people who you want to maintain that kind of healthy lifestyle and optimize your strength and your progress?
I think with that video, I'll just give you a brief summary. So I've been trying to achieve an advanced bodyweight skill. So for me, it's a really difficult skill. It's taken me a lot of time to progress. So my goal for this exercise is 5 reps. And I've consistently been stuck at, say, 3 to 4 reps. And I noticed upon reflecting on my training and my approach that I've been doing a pretty similar approach for a couple of months now. And you know how we are, we get a bit dogmatic in our ways. We tend to do things that we're comfortable with, that we like doing. Essentially, it was me just reflecting on that, realizing that things have got to change, you know? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Albert Einstein said that. And it's really hard to look at yourself and make a change. It's easy for me to look at someone else and see what they're doing wrong, but I think the most difficulty is just reflecting on yourself and seeing what needs to be done, and more importantly, executing on the change that need to be made. So for me, I found that I was training too consistently, so too frequently, at too high of an intensity. So with me, I love strength training, I like it a lot, and it's probably a detriment that I'm doing too much. So it's not that I'm not doing enough. We often get the perception that we should be doing more, but I think in my case, less is more, especially when it comes to this, to allow myself to recover. So I find that focusing on my areas of weakness and actually working on them is going to be a successful approach moving forward. And like you were saying before, it's hard to achieve the balance, but I think you can always skew the balance more by focusing on areas that must be addressed.
Yes.
So you're going to get a bigger return on your investment working on things that you suck at or that you don't want to necessarily do, compared to continuing to add more to what you're already good at.
Yes.
So that's my focus moving forward for the rest of the year, working on the weaknesses, doing a little bit less of what I'm good at.
Definitely,
It's not easy to do, and it's not necessarily comfortable, but I think that's what's required.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of funny as well, because we're both on our rest days today.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not training today.
Yeah.
I've only recently found that I need to have these rest days from researching or doing too much work, because the more you work, the more clouded your mind gets.
No doubt.
And if you're trying to push yourself that last hour to work mentally,
it may not be as productive as just,
you're not going to be as
chilling
effective.
out. Yeah.
So that's really interesting. I really think that's really, really important for people to understand, like ourselves, because we're still going through it too. What are your thoughts on people who are out there trying to teach people what to do, but don't have the level of credibility that you do need, and giving the wrong type of advice?
I think on the internet now in particular, especially in the fitness field, because that's what I know, that's what I do, there's a difference between a fitness celebrity or a fitness personality and a fitness professional. So if I was to classify myself, I'd edge more towards the fitness professional side of things, just because I've been doing it for so long. I've got a proven track record of success with clients, online coaching, in person. I've got a Bachelor of Exercise Science, Master of Physio, so we've got those titles behind what I do. Some would say that they look up to me in the sense that I could be deemed as more of a celebrity in this field, but I like to stick to more of the educational content. Sometimes people blur the lines with what they should and shouldn't be saying, i.e. people giving nutritional advice or say strength training advice to populations that you should be seeing a professional for. So you shouldn't have like a 60-year-old person who's never done exercise in their life and they go on the internet how to squat and someone's teaching them that, you know, is just giving a blanket statement for everyone. So I think there's a very fine line, but it's very difficult with the internet because obviously there's no overbearing liability, if you will, so people can just chuck content out there without any consequence of what's happening, whereas if someone came into the clinic to see me and I gave them some wrong advice or a wrong protocol and they got injured as a result of that, I could be liable. So I think when you're looking to get advice from people, look, are they a professional or a celebrity? Don't get me wrong, it's good to get motivated by people who, you know, are posting vlogs, who are in really good shape, but just because someone's in good shape doesn't mean they're a good teacher. I think trying to have the best of every world is really difficult, and that's what my major focus is. I try and practice what I preach. I want to have the credibility to do so as well, and I want to be a source of motivation. So I'm trying to blend both of those into one. But I think when it comes to people giving the advice, on YouTube in particular, you've got educational content, you've got comedic content, and then you've got more of like your lifestyle content. So I try and specialize in the educational stuff. And then
you do have some comedic stuff as well.
We sprinkle a little bit in. Yeah. I think you've got to find your niche and really try and work in that. If you spread yourself too thin, I reckon that might not be the best thing either.
Do you find that's as well like what differentiates you from everybody else? Is because people know you for that, for the education.
Definitely, Mark. Yeah.
I go for your stuff because I'm like, okay, now I know exactly how to do that muscle up. Now I know how to do this planche push up. Now I know how to do this chin up. You know what I mean? And I find that you combining that with your entertainment kind of stuff to complement it, as opposed to someone who's trying to do too many different things, you lose them in that. Whereas yours is like, you know who your audience is, they know exactly what they like, and that's why they follow you. So it's a really difficult balance because you're trying to get the educational content out there in a succinct fashion whilst you can get people's, you know, retention time in a video, but you're trying to sprinkle in a little bit of personality, which is not the easiest thing to do, I find, but do the best I can. For sure.
Getting better at it over time.
I love it. And I'm loving the vision that you've got for in terms of Australia. Getting your name out there and helping people in like live. You know, doing these workshops. What's the vision for that and what's next?
Okay, so moving forward, I really want to start doing more in-person educational stuff. And workshops and seminars are a really good way to do this because you get that tactile feedback. People get to practice it, apply it, and we get to tweak things on the fly. And it's a really good balance of, you know, actual practical application in addition to the theory that goes behind what we do. And I find in Australia at the moment, calisthenics, bodyweight training is very unknown. It's in its infancy. It's not really that popular in Australia. You go to Europe, you go to America, they're practicing this everywhere. I think that's partly because of the culture. There's a lot of outdoor fitness parks. People are really into it. But I think in Australia, we're really working to get that out there. And I believe that doing workshops is going to be a really good way to kickstart that. And my eventual goal beyond doing it across Australia is obviously to go international, travel Europe, America, because that's predominantly where my audience is.
Nice.
But really at this stage, we just want to test the waters with the type of stuff that we're teaching, the structure of things, making sure that it's really refined in Australia and then take it further from there.
Awesome, man. Daniel's come a long way. He's shared a lot of his time, his audience, a lot of value, and we've had a lot of people like myself. Really, really grateful for the time you spent with us today and the amount of value you've shared with us, all the tips and everything. So excited for 2017. Really excited to be a part of it, man. So appreciate it.
No dramas at all. It's always good connecting with like-minded people, especially in today's society. Everyone's always so negative. So it's nice to hear people who are trying to be positive, push things forward, and that's why I really want to connect with Mark today. It's been a good experience, man.
Awesome, really appreciate it, man. So shout out to FitnessFAQS, all the audience, you guys. Looking forward to hearing your feedback. Yeah, I'm excited for the year to come.
Sweet. See you guys. Thanks for watching.